What is the most important skill in order for you to advance and succeed at whatever it is that you're trying to do in life? You probably have a few ideas running through your head, but what if I told you that there's really only one skill that you need to master and two skills to leverage in order to advance towards whatever it is that you're trying to do? Well, that is the truth, and that is the topic that we'll be covering in this conversation of Sincerely Speaking. So stick around. You need confidence to move forward. Without confidence, you can't really achieve that dream, desire, calling, or lofty element, venture that you've had in your heart to do. Have you heard that before? That's what most experts and gurus out there sell you. Well, I have a slightly different take on it. I believe that you and I can create a feeling and a sense of confidence on demand that can propel us forward without us having to jump through all the hoops and try to figure out all the things that the gurus never really tell you how to do anyway. So if you have been struggling with this notion that you need more confidence, or if you simply have a goal, a dream, an aspiration, a movement, something that you want to start in this world, an impact that you want to have in others, and an influence that you want to use to support and help and do some good out there in the world, then I invite you to head on over to confidence.marciamaro.com, where you are going to find an amazing offer for my course, Confidence on Demand, which will give you the 3 secrets to generating that feeling and that sense of confidence when and where you need it. So again, head on over to confidence.marciamaro.com and take advantage of this opportunity to generate and create confidence when and where you need it. And in the meantime, stick around and chat with me here on Sincerely Speaking. See you soon. So when I was growing up, I had a lot of adults that really cared about me, and they all saw huge potential in me. And they knew that I could do pretty much anything that I wanted to do in my life. And that's not just true of me, that's true of most everybody out there, right? But the thing is that the more I think about what those well meaning, well intentioned adults who cared about me, and some of them loved me, like my dad and my mom were included in that group, so I know they loved me. But the point is, they were very well intentioned, but the advice that they were giving me, the things that they told me to focus on, yeah, they were good things to focus on, but they were not the ones that eventually led me to understanding success and to being able to lead the life that I wanted to lead and to be able to have the kind of impact that I know I'm meant to have in the world. So I had to reset and unlearn some things and relearn others in order to understand what true success and our ability as human beings to progress and to move forward really hinges on. What it is that really makes or breaks our ability to achieve our dreams, to accomplish our goals, and to do the things that we know we're meant to do, right? I believe, and you know this if you've followed me for any length of time, that we all have a main calling that we are designed to bring to the planet. And that within that calling, we have many purposes, right? And at any given time, we're working towards one specific vision. But all of that relies on and depends on one skill that we are never taught, one skill that most of us lack, not because it's unlearnable or because only a select few have it, but because we are never really explained or taught how to leverage that skill or how to grow that skill, right? And that one skill is connected directly to one other skill that is essential for that skill to progress, and another one that is a good to have, not necessarily a must have. But when we understand the one skill that everything hinges on and the two skills that can help us leverage the first one, then we have everything we need in order to move forward. Now, before I tell you what those are, and I know I've been talking kind of like in riddles up until now, let me just preface the rest of our conversation by saying this. It doesn't matter what strategy you're trying to use in order to move forward. It doesn't matter what route you go about getting there. It really doesn't matter even what we're talking about right now. Like it could be something related to your career or your business. It could be something related to your relationships. It could be something related to the way you see yourself and the way you feel about yourself. Or it could just generally be related to your overall sense of fulfillment and satisfaction in life, right? But if we don't understand that everything hinges on this one particular skill, and that these two other skills are what help us leverage it, then we're going to keep spinning our wheels and testing thing after thing after thing. And we might experience a certain level of luck for a while that helps us move forward. And we might experience a certain level of success in an area for a while, but we're going to find that it's hard to sustain, or that we take one step forward and three steps back, or that we are spinning our wheels, doing all the things, doing the right things, even working really hard and trying to move forward as we were taught to do. Right? Because that's what I was taught, and I'm sure you were too, right? Study hard, pay attention, follow the rules, work hard, and you'll get there. But a lot of us do all the things and we still don't get to the place where we know we should get to. And it's because of what we're going to talk about today. So I just want to preface again by saying that this can apply to any area of your life, to any strategy you're trying to use, to any other skills that you're trying to grow, to whatever success looks like to you. This is what's going to make or break the ability for you to do that other thing to a successful level, or to a level where you feel fulfillment and satisfaction with it. All right. So here's the skill. And once I say it, you're probably going to go, oh, Marcy, I knew this. But I'm going to invite you, and this is part of the reason why I've been dragging it, right? And kind of speaking in code. I'm going to invite you to open your mind before I actually tell you what the skills are, because there's nothing new under the sun. It's in the Bible. I believe it to be true. I think everything that is to be learned has already been learned. We're just rediscovering some things, or reworking some things, or muddling some things a little bit, like working them like clay. But there's nothing new under the sun. So anything I say, anything anybody says, if you dig hard enough, you're going to find somebody else who said it before, and you will find somebody else who will say it in the future, right? Maybe slightly different, but the same concept. Yes, so that's the first thing. So the second thing is, anything that you hear and that you are listening to and trying to implement in your life, you could take the attitude of, it's not going to work for me, or I already know this. And guess what result you're going to get? It's not going to work for you, and you're not going to learn anything new. But like Marie Forleo says, and I want to give her credit because that's where I first heard this question, see nothing new under the sun. If you ask yourself, how can this work for me? How can this work for me? And what else? What else can I see here? Then you are going to learn something, and you're going to find a way to make this applicable and relatable to you, because trust me, it is. So with that said, and now that I trust that you have an open mind to enter this conversation, let's go ahead and tell you what the one skill is that everything hinges on, and the two skills that can help you leverage and expand the main skill. So the main skill is leadership, but more specifically, self leadership, or self management, or self knowledge. You can call it whatever you want, but it's this ability to really know yourself, know your strengths and weaknesses, know what your resources are and how to leverage them, and know what you really want and how you're going to get there. But it's not just the knowledge piece. Self leadership is about being able to lead yourself, right? Move yourself into action and into gaining the momentum that you're going to need in order to keep moving forward. See, that's why I said this applies to any strategy. If you've ever had the experience like I had of buying a course, or going to a conference or convention, or reading a book, right? And as you are experiencing whatever that is, the book, the conference, the speech, whatever the case may be, you're thinking, oh my gosh, this is so awesome. This is such great knowledge. This is so amazing. And you get all this information and you get really motivated and excited. But then 2 minutes later, you can't remember half of what you heard. And the motivation, the excitement has dwindled, has died down. And so a week later, you look back and you're like, wait, I said I was going to do something with that. Did I do anything with that? And your answer is no, right? And a month later, you're like, wait a minute, there was something that I was really excited about that I was going to do. What was it? And you haven't taken any action. You haven't implemented any of it. And the reason why we fall into these patterns is because our leadership, specifically our self-leadership, is not where it needs to be. If you've ever heard or read any of Ken Blanchard's books or any of his content, you know he talks about how Leadership is the key to everything, but it starts on the inside first. You need to be able to lead yourself, know yourself. In fact, I'm going to read you a quote from one of his books, if that's okay with you. And it is this book, Leading at a Higher Level by Ken Blanchard. And he says, self leadership comes first because effective leadership starts on the inside. Before you can hope to lead anyone else, you have to know yourself and what you need to be successful. Self knowledge gives you perspective, and perspective is what helps you move forward and do all the things that you need to do. So don't just take it from me, take it from people who are a lot wiser and a lot more knowledgeable than I am. But if you don't have that ability to self lead, then you're not going to be in a place to lead anybody else, which means you're not going to accomplish much because let's be honest, self made people are not really self made. They have teams. They just might not call them that. We all have teams. We have a family. We have friends. We have a community. We have a church. We have some sort of system around us where other people are involved. And if those people don't take part in and don't get involved in some way in what we're trying to do, if we cannot enroll them into our vision and our overall calling or what the end result is that we're working towards, then we're going to be fumbling and floundering throughout because nobody was created to be in a silo and to do it all by themselves. We are all meant to be in community. And so leadership is this two-pronged element that helps us first know and lead ourselves towards whatever it is that we're trying to do or that we want to do. Even knowing what it is you really want requires a certain level of leadership, right? And the second level of that is enrolling others and leading them towards the vision that you've created. Yes. So leadership is that one skill that is going to help you elevate your life, unleash the best version of you, get to the next level, do the things that you've been meaning to do, whether it is at business, in your relationships, in your life in general, right? And just to give you a quick example of how leadership plays into relationship, have you ever noticed the difference between a person that can be in a controversial conversation with their spouse, their significant other, their kids, somebody important in their lives, some sort of out of work relationship, and the one takes the situation, processes it properly, responds to it properly, right? Not reacts, responds to it properly, and is able to follow a system and to follow through with the conversation until it gets to a place of positive outcomes for everybody and possibly a resolution, versus the person that is reactive, that is always pouncing, that is always just knee-jerk reactions and always going into primal mode, like I call it. If you have experienced the difference between those two types of people, you've experienced the difference between someone who can lead themselves and someone who cannot, right? And that's in the relationship aspect. So leadership is that essential skill that is going to help propel you towards the best version of you, regardless of what that looks like. Then the two skills that can help elevate and leverage leadership. One is essential, the other one is a nice to have, but when you know what it does, you're going to want to have it. So the first one is communication. Communication and leadership go hand in hand. You cannot lead yourself or anybody else if you do not effectively and masterfully dominate your communication. If you are not in charge of what you say, when you say it, how you say it to yourself or to others, then you're going to continue to run into roadblocks. You're going to continue to be in that one step forward, two step back, like spinning your wheels type of experience. And you are never going to get to that level of achievement that you're looking for, right? Because communication, internal and external, is essentially linked and essentially tied to leadership. In fact, I often go back and forth as to which one is the most important and which one actually hinges on which, because they go so close together that I don't believe you can have one without the other. In fact, true leadership eventually is known by the value you bring as a leader, right? If you are a leader, but everything that you do is selfish, everything that you do benefits only you, everything that you do stays inside of you, then where's the leadership in that, right? If you start adding value to other people, if you start generating these wins all around, then you can start seeing the effect and the value of leadership. Well, I don't know if you know who Warren Buffett is, but you should. If you don't, go look him up. But he is one of the most influential people in the financial space, and he's one of the richest men in the world. And he has been quoted as saying that there is one skill that can elevate the value you bring to the marketplace by 50% if you can just master this one skill. Guess what that skill is? It's communication, public speaking, being able to express your ideas in an effective and efficient way, where you can enroll others into your vision, where you can bring life into conversations, where you can connect people through your language, and where you can express ideas in a way that is tangible and approachable for the people that you're trying to reach. So if the two of the most powerful and impressive people out there right now, Kim Blanchard and Warren Buffett, agree that leadership and communication are the two main skills that your success hinges on, then I would suggest that we might want to listen and explore a little bit more as to why, right? So if we understand, or once we understand that leadership, being able to lead yourself and others, yourself first and then others, is the main skill that is going to help propel you towards that best version of you. And that communication and leadership are so intricately tied that they are hard to separate, but one elevates the other. One cannot survive without the other. And communication is actually going to be the key that ignites that leadership. Then the next skill that could bring all of it together. It's like the icing on the cake. It's like the cherry on the sundae, right? It's charisma. Charisma. And charisma is simple and it is a skill. A lot of people think that charisma is this ethereal thing that some people are born with and some people aren't. Believe me, I was a wallflower who wanted to hide, and my greatest skill in life was being invisible for the longest time ever. And look at me now, right? So charisma is something that can be learned. But the essence of charisma is very, very simple, because the essence of charisma is being the person that others see as likable, trustworthy, and knowledgeable, right? So if people can look at you and they can think, wow, she knows her stuff. And they can look at you and be like, ah, she really cares about me. And look at you and be like, ah, she's so sweet. I would love to be friends with her. Then imagine how much more you're going to be able to leverage and expand on your communication and your leadership. How much further you're going to be able to get, how you're going to have this ability to attract and enroll the right kind of people to your cause, to the things that matter to you. How you're not going to have to worry about being supported or feeling heard, because people want to be around you and people want to help you, right? So to sum it all up, the main skill that you should be aiming to improve every day, and I aim to improve every day, is leadership, specifically self-leadership, the ability to rediscover your calling, who you're meant to be, the resources that you have at your disposal, your strengths and your weaknesses. Recognize exactly who you are, what you want, and what steps need to be taken to get there. Be able to get out of your own way and manage your resources, including your mind, your emotions, your time, the people that are around you, your teams, your talents, your abilities, right? That is the number one skill, which hinges on or relies on our ability to communicate with ourselves and with others. Self-talk is essential, and talking to others is of utmost importance. But all that can be elevated even more if we tap into the ability to be charismatic, to show that we care, to be someone that is inviting, and that invites not just other people to approach you, but who invites trust and who invites conversation and connection. And once you can understand and master these three skills, and this is a process, right? You always have another level that you can go to, but once you can master what these are and how to start leveraging them to your success, to your advantage, then you will know how to support the people around you and move forward in a way that creates success for you and those in your environment. So I hope that this has been helpful. If you're sitting there thinking, but Marcy, I don't think I have what it takes in order to do all these things. I don't think I have what it takes in order to be a leader or in order to advance my communication. I definitely don't see myself as charismatic. I don't think that people would hear me, or I don't think that I can advance to the next level. Then I have a tool that's going to help you snap out of that mindset of scarcity, snap out of all those doubts about whether you have enough or not enough, or what is missing or what, and help you start taking action. Action every day, action to move forward, to build that momentum. And the tool is called the Crops Inventory, and I want to give it to you as a gift for sticking around with me here on Sincerely Speaking. So just comment crops below in the show notes in the episode, or send me an email at marcy@marcyamaro.com with the word crops in the subject, CROPS, and I will send the link your way so that you can get your free copy of the Crops Inventory. All right. Thank you for being part of Sincerely Speaking. Share this with someone in your life who might find it helpful. And until next time, this has been Sincerely Speaking, and this has been Marcy Amaro. Chat with you soon.